children, it's a very long time since I've seen you, isn't it? I hope you're all very well and looking after your families, and I miss you very much, and I can't wait to come back into preschool and read you some stories. So today I thought I'd read you one of your favourite stories, and it's Avocado Baby. I think you all remember this one, don't you? Okay, let's start. Mr. and Mrs. Hargreaves and their two children were not very strong. Mrs. Hargreaves was expecting another baby, and they all hoped it wouldn't be as weak as they were. And there's the Hargreaves family, look. Okay. The new baby was born, but as they expected, it wasn't very strong. Mr. and Mrs. Hargreaves brought the baby home, and it grew, but it still didn't get strong. They found feeding the baby very, very difficult. It didn't like anything to eat. And there's all the pictures of the mummy trying to feed the baby, and the baby saying, "No, no." "Whatever can I do?" said Mrs. Hargreaves. "The baby doesn't like anything I give it to eat, and he looks so weak." "Why don't you give it that avocado pear?" said the children. And there's the mummy, she's crying, look. Can you see her? She's very upset because the baby won't eat anything. In the fruit bowl on the table was an avocado pear. Can you see it just there? Nobody knew how the avocado pear got there because the Hargreaves never bought the avocado pears from the shops. Mrs. Hargreaves cut the pear in half, she mashed it up and she gave it to the baby, who ate it all up. From that day on, an amazing thing happened. The baby became very strong. And there they are, helping feed the baby. He looks very strong now, doesn't he? He was getting so strong, he could break out of the straps from his high chair. He could pull the other children up the hill in a cart. Can you see how strong he is, look? He could pull the side off his cot. And each day, Mr. and Mrs. Hargreaves gave the baby more avocado pear. One night, a burglar got into the house. There he is. Oh, he's going to take some of the things from the house that belonged to the Hargreaves. The baby heard the burglar, and he woke up. And he leapt out of his cot, and he was very cross. Can you see his face? He's very, very cross there. The baby picked up a broom and he chased the burglar all the way out of the house, and the burglar dropped his bag full of stuff that he'd taken from the Hargreaves' house. I think the burglar was very frightened of the baby. The burglar was so frightened at being chased by the baby that he dropped his bag and he ran out the house as fast as he could. The next day, Mr. Hargreaves put a notice on the gate. That should keep the burglars away, he said. And there it is, the note on the gate, and it says, "Beware of the baby." Oh my goodness me, I've never seen a sign like that on anybody's gate. The baby would help Mummy carry the shopping. And he'd help the family move the furniture. And he'd push the car when it wouldn't start. Look how strong the baby is. One day, two naughty children who weren't very kind at all were waiting in the park, and they saw the Hargreaves children with the baby approaching, And they pointed at them as if to say, we're going to be very unkind to them children in a minute. The bullies started being very unkind to the children. So they took their coats off and they threw them on the floor, and they were messing with the girl's hair, and they're just being very, very unkind. The baby, you see him? What do you think the baby's going to do? I think you're right. I think he's going to get out of his pushchair and help the children. And you're right, he did. The baby didn't like that at all. He jumped out of the pushchair. He picked up the bullies and he threw them. Do you know where he's going to throw them? Let's have a look. Splash! He threw them into the pond. Oh my goodness me. I don't think they like that very much. The baby gets stronger every day. And yes, he's still eating avocado pear. I hope you like that little story. I'll read another one for you that you can have at home or in preschool. And I really hope to see you all soon. Bye.